Hello, and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here, and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you might have heard about the old location, some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. It's a shame that all that bad stuff happened there, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They really upped their security budget since last time, and they've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Some kind of facial recognition, advanced mobility, they even let them walk around during the day. But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database, so they can detect predators. I don't really know how well it works, but let's hope we don't even have to use it. With our new security guards and cameras, I doubt anyone with bad intentions would even be able to enter the building. Now with that being said, no new systems without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location, and the first guy finished this week, but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift, so hey, lucky you, right? Mainly, he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night, and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. The restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while we haven't been able to contact our engineers, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room, so then they go to try to find where the people are by following sound or bright lights. And in this case, that's either your office or the generator in the parts and service room. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. As far as the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be like a minor glitch in the system, something about their facial recognition not working in the dark. We're worried they might automatically notify the police if they think you're a criminal, so hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually, anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close, but you have a light, and as long as none of the animatronics get close to the generator, the building shouldn't go dark. I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to, keep the music box wound up, piece of cake. Have a good night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. See, I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models in the back rooms. Those are from the previous location. We just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them. They even started to retrofit them with some of the newer technology, but they were just so ugly, you know, the smell. So the company decided to go in a whole new direction and make them super kid-friendly. Those older ones shouldn't be able to walk around. But if they do, the old Freddy head trick should work on them too, so whatever. Yeah, I love those old characters. Did you ever see Foxy the Pirate? Oh, wait, actually, yeah, Foxy. Hey, listen, that one was always a bit twitchy. I'm not sure the Freddy head will work on Foxy. For some reason, he activates during the night, and if you see him at the far end of the hall, just shine your light on him until he leaves. Those older models would always get disorientated with bright lights. It would cause a system restart or something. Come to think of it, you might want to try that on any room where something undesirable might be. It might hold them in place for a few seconds. That might have carried over to the newer models too. One more thing, don't forget the music box. I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It was always thinking. I'm not sure how, but I've heard it can go anywhere. I don't think the Freddy mask will fool it, so just don't forget the music box. Anyway, sure won't be a problem. Have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow. Hello, hello? See? I told you wouldn't have any problems. Did, Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious. Like I said, he always was my favorite. They tried to remake him. They thought the first one was too scary, so they tried to design him to be more kid-friendly and put him in Kids Cove. But kids these days, they just can't keep their hands to themselves. The staff tried to put Foxy back together after every shift, but none of us here at the location are experienced engineers, so eventually they just stopped trying and left him as some kind of take-apart, put-back-together attraction until the engineers eventually come for a maintenance check. Now he's just a mess of parts. I think the employees refer to him as just the mangle. But hey, before I go, I want to ease your mind about any rumors you may have heard recently. You know how these local stories come and go and seldom mean anything. I can personally assure you that whatever is going on out there, and however tragic it may be, has nothing to do with our establishment. It's just all rumor and speculation. People trying to make a quick buck, you know. The investigation hasn't had any new developments in quite a while, so I doubt there's really anything new. Okay. Anyway, hang in there. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
They took you apart at two. They together continue. Such a feeling.
Hello? Hey, Night 4, I told you you'd get the hang of it. Okay, so just to update you, the police are planning to go back into full swing on the old missing children's investigation that was unsuccessful last year. We may end up having to close for a few days. I don't know. I want to emphasize, though, that it's really just a precaution. Fazbear Entertainment denies any wrongdoing. These things happen sometimes. It'll get sorted out in a few days. Just keep an eye on things, and I'll keep you posted. Just as a side note, though, try avoiding eye contact with any of the animatronics tonight. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. We're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual, almost aggressive towards the staff. They interact with kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare. Anyway, hang tight. It'll all pass. Good night. Hey, good job, night 5. Hey, keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown next week. No one's gonna be allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. So, from what I've been told, a witness finally came forward with some new information about a yellow suit. But they said it wasn't a Chica suit, so the police are coming in next week to search our storage. We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of that place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. That restaurant was the only one to have yellow characters other than Chica. I actually used to operate some of those suits, but it's been closed down for years. I doubt we'll be able to track anyone down. Anyway, tomorrow we're hosting the last party before lockdown, and our other day shift guy quit, so we're gonna need you to come in, because we don't want to look like we're cutting back on security with everything that's happening. So, just one more night. See you tomorrow, for the party. Hang in there. Good night.
The others would like an answer, but I am very aware. Hello?